Hello, everybody, and welcome to EsportsNetwork's host of 1v1 Me. I am Steve Sirbuttkick. Happy to welcome finally a host with a name as bizarre as my own. I got Evie HamTornado Feng. Evie, thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Again, Esports Network, we're trying to bring you the best of all esports content. Clearly, I'm leading the show here as I got a really fun game ahead of us. Actually, your game, for anybody who doesn't know the format of 1v1 Me, I bring on a guest. They choose a game to slaughter me in because generally I am not very good at games outside of a few in particular. And you chose Overwatch. Surprisingly, nobody else has picked that yet. So, Evie, do you want to give a quick introduction as to why you picked Overwatch and also who you are?
Right, so picked Overwatch clearly because best game, hottest esport around. I'm just kidding.
No, we're competing with Overwatch League, right? Like, nobody is watching this that watches Overwatch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Lee, you should watch Overwatch League right now. I mean, this will be on VOD. You can check this out anytime, but you got to be there for live, action.
Don't listen. Cutter, Coco, Cutter. New guest.
I'm just kidding. But Overwatch, definitely one of the, up and coming new esports. The launch of the Overwatch League just a couple of weeks ago was really huge news to great success. And so we'll be showing you a little bit of what you can have in Overwatch shortly. But
exactly.
Yeah, a little bit about me. My name is HamTornado. You guys can call me Ham. And but
I love that. That's a great name. I just got to say, 5 out of 5 for style points right off the bat.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, and I'm an Overwatch caster, so this is kind of a live and breathe Overwatch, and this is my favorite video game.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So, again, for anybody who doesn't understand the format of the show, we're going to play a competitively or casually competitive, I think that's like the term we've coined, casually competitive game while I ask you some questions about how you got into the esports industry, general esports questions. So I get an advantage because you're answering questions that I ask you, but you get the advantage because you picked the game. Now, from what I've heard and what Coco has set up for us, this isn't exactly just a normal 1v1. There are some extra rules added. He briefly went over them with me, so I'm going in pretty fresh here. I think you know exactly what's going to happen, so you have an advantage there. So let's load up into the game and also get into the first question. This is what I ask everybody is, you mentioned you're a caster. Not everybody knows exactly what that is, so can you just kind of summarize what you do exactly? And also then touch on how did you get the name? I mean, HamTornado is pretty unique, so answer those two real quick while we get in the game.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually going to... So here, just really quickly, if I'm not sure if the stream is watching our screens right now, but this is Deathmatch. It's specially made. It's a custom game just for 1v1. Usually you have Team Deathmatch for 4 players or 8 players. But since it's just going to be myself and Sir Butt here, we'll have just this special 1v1 setup, and don't mind the countdown. We can pick whatever hero we want.
Do we have to pick a mirrored hero? Do we have to?
Yeah, mirrored heroes. So whichever one you want.
Well, clearly we got to do the Pharah 1v1.
Pharah? Right? All right, let's go.
Sorry, Pharah. There we go.
So, special rule set here. You guys should all may be familiar with Chateau Guillard, but this is 1v1 and paintball. So, one shot.
What?
One shot KOs.
Okay.
Everybody lives and dies super quickly. The round will be over at 20 kills.
Oh, it's going to be over a little quicker than that, I feel. I might have to just uninstall here real quick.
I doubt it. It's Pharahs are a lot of RNG. Don't sweat it, dude. Like, as you said, I have an advantage here, but...
Oh, I just killed myself.
Oh no!
Okay, also, just a quick correction. My name is not Sir Butt. It's Sirbuttkick, but
Sirbuttkick, yes.
Unless that's like your idea of smack talk, in which case I'm all for it because I am a huge...
No. It was I was getting too excited, a little too colloquial here.
All right, Pharah was a poor choice, but okay, we're getting into your name now, HamTornado. Just run me through what that is, where it came from.
Yeah, so it was actually if you're familiar with Oblivion, that RPG game from Bethesda. So Oblivion, quite a few years back, I was also really enjoying playing that game and watching all these like little machinimas and stuff on YouTube, and I saw one video of some guy who like console commands spawned like 10,000 pieces of ham and like threw them off a cliff.
As you do.
Yeah, and his laptop was obviously struggling, and so it was kind of spiraling down in this beautiful swirl of porky goodness. And somebody said, HamTornado sounds like a two butchers 69ing. And I was like, well, damn. That is quite the mental image, and it just stuck in my head, and I couldn't get rid of it again.
That's where you got it from. Two butchers 69ing.
Yeah, I was like, that's
all right.
Not something I've personally seen, but I believe you. Oh, balls.
No, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, so, you died? I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. You out mind gamed me, man.
Wait, I'm about to be removed for inactivity. What does that mean?
Oh, that means here, let me hit you. You can kill me. That means if you this is to keep bots from. Oh no, he left.
Oh no, I just left. Wait, what?
You get experience from custom games. So this is a new mechanic that Blizzard added after people would create these servers where you could just queue in and finish out the game just AFK. So you could level up and get loot boxes. So they created this mechanic where you'll be kicked for inactivity if you're not killing somebody.
So maybe this isn't the best one for me to play far on. We can try something else.
Yeah, sure. I'm down for anything.
Get back in. Coco, he can hear me right now. He'll be arranging the lobby here. But okay, so HamTornado, two butchers, 69ing.
Yeah.
And it just clicked. That was the moment that you realized this is what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, that was the moment. That was quite a few years back. I hadn't really considered pursuing a career in esports at all at that point. But okay. I was actually you preempted me asking me about my name, because I was actually going to say, I mean, your name was so amazing. I was wondering about it the whole time as I was preparing for this interview. Where did you come up with Sirbuttkick?
No one's ever asked me a question before.
What?
Yeah. So, honestly, funny fact, it is also a Skyrim or Elder Scrolls story. Mine's Skyrim. Okay, who do you want to pick this time? Who do you want to pick?
Let's do Reinhardt. Reinhardt's pretty good on
Reinhardt.
This
okay.
So this is a fire strikes only.
Sure. So my naming came from just creating a character. I wanted to be Captain America and only use a shield and then punch people. And I was like, what's the best name for that? Well, clearly, I picked the best. So, we have infinite. We can just spam this.
Oh God!
Whoa!
Yeah, this is 0 cooldowns, man.
All right, this is more like it. Okay. So because I initially thought HamTornado, you probably just picked like any kind of deli meat along with a natural disaster, right? Like salami, hurricane, or something like that.
Salami monsoon.
Which honestly is not a bad place to start. If you're looking to get started as a caster, roast beef whirlpool is available.
Ooh, you got me.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. It might not be. I don't know.
That's great. I don't know.
There's an infinite number of combinations. Oh my goodness! All right. Well, I'm gonna win this one. I guarantee. So outside of the name, then tell me about your first exposure to esports. You know, how you first got into the scene, even like first realized it was an option to pursue as a career, or even not even that far. Just first time you saw esports as a fan.
So I'm actually quite a relative newcomer to the esports scene. My Overwatch is actually my first esport. Oh. I remember I was hanging out with one of my exes at the time, and he was watching League of Legends Worlds.
Good one. And that was a good play. Good play right there.
I was just, hanging, chilling, and kind of watching it. I was like, there's actually a lot of production value going into this, and oh Lord! No, God, I'm so scared!
All right.
I walked right into it.
You gave that one to me. You gave that one to me. So you were watching League with a past in
an
person?
Old flame.
Yeah. Old. Yeah. There we go.
But yeah, I was like, this is
Oh, whoa! Where'd you come from?
Oh God!
Yeah. Tied game. Let's go.
All right. Okay, next one's mine. Yeah, so I was like, I hadn't really thought of video games in this capacity before, and I was kind of interested. And just at that time, right at that moment, my sister was like, "Hey, have you heard of Overwatch? It's like this new thing, and there's like an Egyptian grandma in it." And I was like, "What?" And she was watching actually the Overwatch World Cup 2016. So that was my first exposure, and from that point, I even though like the observing client and everything was so like new and awkward, and there's so much growing pains and everything, and I was spectating a Winston, I remember, on Nimbani, and I was thinking to myself, like, God, I don't know if I can even play this game. I'm getting nauseous just watching all of this movement.
Yeah, it was a lot to deal with right away.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people might not remember. We've come a long way.
Ooh, clip me. Yeah, and but something about it, I think it was just like the diversity of the characters, the interesting game mechanics, the fact that, it's so far removed from many of the other titles that you often think about when you say esports, like CSGO, COD. These are all really great games, but it's almost entirely predicated on you being able to...
Oh, wait, we can ult? What? I didn't know that. Okay, well...
Yeah, ult away, man. It's even more funny when you get killed from a nurse shatter. But, yeah, the, so especially the entry threshold is a lot smaller, is a lot lower for people who have an interest in video games, where maybe, like, turned off by the hyper competitive or hyper, like, intensely mechanical nature of the game. Like, here, I'm a tank main, so... you gotta careful when you pick your corners, yo. But
so you should be winning, is what you're telling me. Like, I shouldn't feel bad about this.
Yo, I got this sexy golden hammer. It doesn't mean anything. It just means I've played enough hours that I have this gold hammer. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed not just like the actually playing the game, but kind of the mission statement, or like the angle that Blizzard was going for here with Overwatch. Very inclusive.
Yeah.
And
it's a pretty culturally diverse game, just in terms of the characters. That's something that a lot of people do notice right away, and it's kind of interesting. That's what brought you into it. So that was just 2 years ago then, right? Or
yeah.
About a year and a half? Wow. So what made you decide you wanted to be a caster?
That was actually... So I had I always followed it very closely. I really enjoy the analytical aspect of the game, where, it's akin to real sports, or a traditional sport, I should say, where you have a team of...
Watch out, you're speaking to a certain audience here.
God! Yeah, you have... you have certain players who all have their particular specialties and abilities, and how do you best leverage that in the game environment to eke out a win against your opponent. And so I'd always followed like the analysis side, and I think, but like the turning point for me personally jumping into casting was meeting Left Guy. Gilfrost is his official moniker. Gilfrost at DreamHack Denver. He's an amazing and very supportive guy, and he was like the first e-celebrity, I guess you could say, I met in person. And I was just so nervous. All I really wanted was to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
But when we were met face to face, and he was like so friendly and open, I just decided to like go for it and ask him, hey, I'm interested in casting. I was kind of bullshitting, because I hadn't really thought that much about it, tangentially, but in the same way of, I wonder what it would be like to go to flight school,
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, but he was so incredibly excited to talk about his, his industry with me, and saying, hey, I'm like, I'm a nobody, but he was like, oh, if you want to just, I'm open almost all the time. If you want to send me VODs for review, if you want to talk about, Overwatch, if you want to talk about casting, you ever need advice. And I was like, what? This guy is so cool. And so we kind of really hit it off from there. And that's when I decided to start, really actually dedicating hours of my time each day to figuring out how to cast. So essentially you're saying old Fling is where you found esports, but then now you found new Fling in Gilfrost, right? Can we confirm? Can we have the VOD like YouTube handle be Evie spills all or something like that? Oh yes, my HamTornado's tell all. Yeah. It's not just Butcher. Okay, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not making the Butcher 69 joke there. I really wanted to. I'll have it be known that I thought it
and I chose not to. But then I acknowledged that I wanted to say it, which is essentially saying it. Okay.
But I appreciate your restraint. That's the true mark of a professional, is, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. All right, so yeah, very interesting way then. So you had not had any intention of actually casting, or at least not considered casting until you met him. Was that kind of meeting him was the catalyst then? Like that made you realize, oh, this is somebody real who is doing this, I could do this kind of thing? Or was it just you were so excited in the moment and then you're like, oh crap, now I actually have to try casting because I told him?
It was like 70, I don't know, 50-50, 60-40. You could.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose, like, because this is like a pretty, took the lead.
I'm sweating so hard right now.
You got this. This is a pretty, pretty young and also very niche industry. So, I mean, I've always particularly enjoyed storytelling. I talk a lot. And it was just, I thought that, it's always hard to be objective in your own abilities, I think, when you're talking about, hey, when I speak, am I entertaining? Do I tell a cohesive story? Is my analysis even sound? I think it is, obviously, but does it actually have any merit in a world where people do this as their profession, right? And he was kind of able to give some of that third party, nice!
I wanted to win with the ultimate. I really wanted to.
Winning with style, too.
Who needs a golden hammer when you got green armor? That's what I gotta say. Sorry, but continue.
Yeah. Whoa! What happened? Oh my god. Wait, just a sec. Woo. Insert Silent Hill music.
Are you okay, HamTornado? What's going on? Is somebody there? Is it Gilfrost?
Yay! The poltergeist didn't get me.
Okay, good. I was concerned. All right, so wait, okay. I guess I'm still a little confused. So do you play Overwatch, or how long have you been playing in particular? If that was about a year and a half ago. Were you playing for longer?
I've been playing since about the Overwatch World Cup. That's when I kind of this game went onto my radar. But in terms of moving beyond just being like a casual player, and
should we say Roadhog here also, just real quick?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, Roadhog is great on this map. Hooks only, yo.
All right.
Here, fishy. So
continue. Sorry for cutting you off there.
Actually, what was I talking about?
How long have you been playing for?
So playing, not very long. About a year and a half, I suppose, or 2 years. But in terms of
no.
This is also a 0 cooldowns. So
okay, I was waiting. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I'm as a player, I'm only really like, I don't know, plat. So nothing too exciting to see here.
All right. Well, I think I've only played my placements once, and I definitely got bronze. So
oh no.
Let's see if I can win this one. Oh, are we at max range? No, we're not. All right. But plat player, so you have an idea of what you're doing then. What's it like transitioning in-game, knowledge when you're casting to then playing? I mean, or I guess playing to casting. Is it more advantageous to play to learn or to watch to learn?
I would actually say watch to learn. Absolutely. This actually ties into a conversation some people were having previously about, if you're not a professional level player, can you really open your mouth to talk about game analysis? And my personal feeling is absolutely, because there's a huge difference between, there's even a huge difference between being an analyst and a caster. A caster is all about telling the story of the game in an entertaining and easily digestible way for the audience, right? An analyst is all about accurately describing and accurately describing the ways that particular teams are able to leverage their advantages to win a game, or what went wrong or what went right in order for so and so such and such team to win against another. And being a player is all about do you have the mechanical skill to win for your team.
I'm on the moon. I'm on the moon. I've never played on this map before.
No, you're doing.
I
great,
really
man.
hope that the face cam saw that because my face just lit up. Can I go down there?
No, you're gonna die.
Oh,
Don't die.
okay. It's too late. Yep.
Aw.
I
It's
should have told me
okay.
earlier.
Curiosity killed the pig.
Yeah, exactly. So, in your opinion, no, it's not necessary to be a pro level player. Do you think that there is an extent, though, that you need to be able to at least kind of like prove yourself, say, plat player, gold player, some kind of level? Like, are you comfortable with maybe a professional analyst being bronze? Do you think that would ever happen?
I mean, professional level casters have definitely been gold before, which is just a couple levels up from bronze. I mean, not to throw him under the bus. It's nothing. I think he's plat or diamond now. So Doa, though, originally at the very beginning, I remember in the early seasons of Apex, he was famous for being a Zenyatta main. Oh, I'm about to be removed. Where are you? Let me kill you. There you are. So you can kill me here.
I don't think it works like that. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right.
But yeah, he was just a gold Zenyatta player. But I think it all comes down to, if you haven't been playing, FPS since you were 11, like many of these pro players, that's fine. As long as you have a love of the game and you're willing to put in the hours to learn it. Watch how, grandmasters are playing. Watch these pro teams and absorb their strategies and their gameplay mechanics. Like, you don't yourself necessarily need to be.
Oh no, you got kicked.
Yeah, I got kicked.
I laid a trap for you at the moon, but you didn't come.
Oh no, I was too slow. I spawned all the way at like point B.
That's rough. All right.
Yeah, no, but basically, as long as you, because as long as you have some base knowledge, like if you're, I don't know, say if you're a Rocket League caster and you just jump into Overwatch and want to try and cast Overwatch, that's going to be incredibly difficult. But say if you're a CSGO caster, like Semler, who's actually casts for the Overwatch League right now, if you he came in and he's one of, he's paired with hexagrams usually, but he's an amazing Overwatch caster. This is actually his first LAN tournament where we've actually seen him cast this game, and he's amazing. You can tell that he's studied the players, studied the teams, watched the games, put in the hours, taken notes on the VODs and everything, and he casts amazingly. He does play by play.
Okay, sure.
So yeah, like being the top player definitely doesn't translate into being a top caster.
Yeah, I think that's very important to notice. Sometimes the pro players aren't as good at the talent of casting because it does take time, it does take work. And before we get onto that topic, what champ do we want to, or hero do we want to play?
Let's do Winston. This is a butt stomps only.
You can only jump. Oh my goodness.
You can only jump.
Well, I've been training my whole life for this. years of jumping into the enemy team and dying will finally pay off.
Yeah.
All right, where are you? Oh, I can drop my shield though. That's a secret strat.
Yeah, it's a no jump cooldown either. So.
Oh, what?
Hella monkeys everywhere.
Oh, you're going down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we can just break the game right now.
Oh, what do you mean?
I'm just gonna keep jumping up.
Yeah, dude. It's
Oh, I don't think I'm going anywhere. Yeah, I wasn't going anywhere.
A monkey in motion wins deathmatch is, I believe, Jesus or somebody said that, right?
Really, Jesus. I think it was Pastrami Hurricane that said that one actually.
Pastrami Hurricane.
I think so. So what was the hardest part about getting started in your casting career? So you've been doing it for about a year and a half now. Where were you at a year and a half ago?
It was a biggest difficulty is just finding resources. There's whoa, where are you? So
I'm
sneaky.
just jumping like crazy.
Because you think like somebody so large would be easy to see, but not so.
Oh, what? I went right past you. Okay. So wait, if we collide mid-air, does that count? Okay, I guess it does.
Yeah, there we go. Well, you collided with me, and then I collided with the ground. Yeah, but hardest part casting was definitely finding a community in order, because like how I started was literally just like going on YouTube, picking up like a VOD of Apex or Contenders or something, and then
this is the silliest thing I've ever done.
this is incredible.
We're just jumping. I'm gonna die. Come on, come at me.
God, I fell off the thing. Where am I? Okay.
Where'd you go?
Sneaking.
Get back here.
It's all part of the strategy.
Ah! Who needs health? So wait, what is the hitbox? We're just... This is ridiculous. Okay, so finding a community.
Yeah,
So
because
solo
like
YouTube.
you can the best thing to do is just start get into a game, find a game, old game, pull that footage and cast over it by yourself, right? So you can get a feel for the flow of the game, the mechanics of casting, try and copy maybe your favorite caster or something like that, which is what I did. But there's only so much improvement that you can do yourself in this way. One of the biggest difficulties is definitely just finding a partner, because casting is all duo casting. Like you can do stuff solo, but it's incredibly difficult, and you kind of miss the flow of the game. Casting is all about creating a conversation between the two casters in order to tell the story of how the map is progressing, and
Sure.
you can't do that by yourself. So
it's difficult. I mean, people have tried. I know that back at the beginning when Overwatch first came out, there were a few VODs. I saw, attempts at those solo casts, but it seems so much harder to do it with Overwatch because there's so much action happening constantly, as well as a lot of strategy, as opposed to kind of the other esports. CSGO comes to mind, where, there's breaks where it's like a sudden burst of a lot, like, two people found each other, or one person's caught out, but then the rest is just kind of setting up position. Overwatch is a lot more frantic in that way.
yeah, Overwatch is very difficult because the stories are not really linear. You oh no, balls! I was just a second too late on my cue. But yeah, the storylines are, the flow of the fight is not really linear. Sometimes you get like a more linear map, like Hollywood. So you're like, okay, well, you have like the beginning of the fight when they come out. You have like the streets phase. Well, okay, you have like the 3 stages of the fight. You have the beginning of the fight where people are posturing, then you have the initiation, then the middle of the team fight where you might see some ultimates come out, and then the end of the team fight where you're just cleaning up the stragglers and stuff, and the fight's basically won. But depending on what team, on what map, what heroes, and so on and so forth, the proportions of those 3 fight elements can last like 1 second, an entire minute. Oftentimes on Control Center, you see fights, especially in overtime, lasting 3 minutes, and everybody's just continuing to trickle onto the point, and everybody's dying, but slowly enough that the respawns are coming in, and the fight's still going, and it's still going, and this
Suddenly the ultimates all reset.
yeah, and then you get more ults, and then you have more ult battle. So it's really ideal to be able to cast with a partner. And in order to do that, you really need to find a casting community, which I'm proud to say, I would like to just put a quick plug in here for my bros out there at broadcast.gg. After I joined them, that's really when a lot of this stuff started to gel.
Yeah, that is something I wanted to talk with you about, is because you kind of sent me some information ahead of time. I've heard of Broadcast GG, but I'd never been a part of them. All right, you got I had never gotten in contact with them. So what is Broadcast GG?
Join us. Broadcast GG is an esports broadcasting server that's dedicated to. Oh man, you should have seen my ragdoll.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's dedicated to honing and developing broadcast talent in all its forms. So it's actually our right now we're mostly focused on producing and casting, but hosting, analysis, and for multiple games as well. Our biggest casting community is definitely Overwatch right now, but we also have trying to get League going. We have some people who actually cast Hearthstone too. So
this is the hardest thing in the world to control. By the way, I just want to everybody who's like, what are these animals doing? Especially if anybody's just joining right now, I'm finally getting the hang of it down. But there we go. Oh.
It's really difficult with just two people because then you're just trading jumps and you look like, friggin' morons.
We're just playing Leapfrog right now.
Yeah, Leap Gorilla, Jumpin' Monkeys. But when you have like 8 people all going at once, that's when things start to get more hilarious. But
yeah, you can just stay airborne forever. This is incredible. They should just make Winston like this.
I know, right? That would be just insane.
Yeah, just
Come
keep
on, Blizzard.
We need another flying character. Although, could you imagine this in Spectator?
So nauseous.
So how did you get involved with Broadcast GG?
So we actually.
Oh.
I'll go chase you. See if
just
I can
casually ulting me. Wow.
Yeah. Hey. All right, but
Oh! Whoa!
But yeah, so
stops me. All right.
This is one of the things that I'm really happy to be a part of the Broadcast GG community because it's so difficult. I think we're actually the only one that I know of that provides this service. We have we stream scrim nights, Broadcast GG scrim nights every day, which is where producers and casters can cast and produce these open div style show matches between teams who are scrimming. Right, so not only do the teams get practice and exposure scrimming, but our casters get practice. Our casters and our producers get practice. It's so hard. I'm just like staring at the air.
This is okay. We can't do Winston again. We gotta go back to Reinhardt.
Let's do Ryan.
All right. Do we just want to call it? We're even.
Yeah. Okay. You are certainly skilled in the ways of the leaping, sir.
This is so my hands are shaking.
Oh no!
My hands are shaking right now. All right, Coco, we're getting into another one right now. Load us up. So you're back, and I want to actually hear your questions.
This is hey man, this is Overwatch. It's action all the time, man. Not a lot of breathing room.
All right, I gotta do some stretches. I gotta get warmed up again.
Right, limber up. But
so how did you hear about this organization to begin with? I don't think I caught that earlier. How did you initially get in contact with and first start? Because that's where a lot of people are. Yeah. Is like, how do I even start?
How do I even start? That's a really good question, and it is a lot of the luck of the draw. I got really lucky. I was able to become friends with Gilfrost, who was able to point me towards some resources, and through him, I actually got in contact with a Hex as well. But neither of them, because they're big names, and I'm just a small fish. But neither of them knew they had all heard of a broadcasting server somewhere out there in the ether, but nobody knew. And so I just started asking everybody that I knew might have any kind of inkling who they were or where I could find them. And that's kind of the hardest part of getting into casting or producing or any of these specifically casting. I should just talk about casting, which is what I do. But yeah, that's one of the difficulties of getting into casting, is because you don't really you just have to put in that legwork, try and reach out to all the contacts that you have anywhere. You see somebody somewhere may know something. Oh no!
Yep, that was my bad.
Was it the automobile winning out?
No, that was me jumping over the edge. All right, let's keep the map a little smaller. We have to be around this little dome thing.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, so I just was reaching out to everybody that I knew might have any idea where I could find this, and one of them was able to link me to it, and that's how I found them.
I tried to disrespect you right there by pinning you against the wall.
That would have been
bad.
really funny. I that's no, I respect that. That's you gotta take those chances, man.
You
That's
the disrespect. Yeah.
That's what this is all about. Like I was
That's what
saying,
casting's all about, right? You just gotta go for it.
Yeah, you gotta go for it. The Monte Cristo actually had a really great piece of advice, which is just, I mean, it's really hard to put into practice, especially tying back into what I was saying before. There's not really many openly available resources. You really have to dig, but you just got to start making content. Like, you can solo cast and use those VODs yourself, even without a partner, and that's already invaluable experience.
Fair,
and and
so what does that exactly look like? Because again, I have spent time casting. I'm also pursuing similar careers as a lot of people are in production and esports, and that was something that I never even understood, and I still, to an extent, don't. Is when people say just do it. I was lucky enough to find a university league that was looking for a caster. I tried out. They said, sure, you're good enough. And from there, I didn't have the capacity to stream myself. So for somebody that maybe doesn't have that capacity, they don't have a PC where they can just upload VODs of them streaming. I started off by just watching YouTube videos and just practicing with a roommate just for fun. But to get noticed, to get in an organization, what's that first step? Because when you say just do it, that's sometimes hard to understand, or at least interpret, and it can be interpreted different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. That was I definitely that was one of my biggest difficulties starting out, was like, what does that exactly mean? I was actually feeling pretty salty and frustrated early on.
Well,
yeah. I mean, everybody. I think there's definitely a contingent of people who just want those opportunities handed to them. But most people that I know personally are really hard workers, and they just want to have some kind of framework. Like, I will work hard if I can just know what I'm supposed to be working hard at, right? Like, what's the best way to develop casting? Is it, casting big tournaments? Is it just putting in the hours? Is it, what is it? So I can't really speak to what the industry standard is. I'll just talk a little bit about my personal story and how I got started. So originally I was just like you. I did exactly what you did, which is just go on YouTube and pull those videos and start casting over them. But after a while, you're like, this is obviously, there's only so far you can go doing this by yourself. So once again, I really want to emphasize trying and finding a community. This is something that I really hope that Broadcast GG can continue to grow in the future, because since I've joined, I think we've gone from about 100 or so members to about 400 now.
Oh,
and
wow.
I really... Oh, nice shot. Whew. And I'm really proud of all the good work that Mushu has done and everything. He's so dedicated to continuing to develop Broadcast GG's resources and the scope of how, what they can do for young and upcoming casters. Because that was where everything kind of started taking off. Like, I was putting in the hours every day. I was casting a VOD every single day, at least 2-3 hours maybe. But once I joined Broadcast GG, then that only ramped up even more. I kept bothering Mushu for scrims every single day. He probably was so annoyed. Love you, Mushu. But
well, you need that kind of advice, that kind of mentorship. I think at the beginning, that's very important.
And not just that, but like you said about not having like a PC to scrim and stuff. If you have that available, that's always great. But sometimes you need more of a framework so that you can show or develop, what you have. Like, ooh!
Just keep spamming, it'll work eventually.
But yeah, like if your PC is not really up to task, or say for me, my internet is actually really, really bad. So I'm actually streaming this right now at my friend's house. Thanks, Matt. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have that talent, and maybe just aren't able to show it because they don't have the resources available to make that content, or they don't have a producer to help them produce those scrims so that they look nice and people will want to watch them, and etc.
Thanks Coco, love you dearly. Oh, well played. That was good.
But yeah, and then from that point, once you're able to find like some regular practice, you getting practice going with some partners, then you can start to further refine like what you want to do. Like, you basically after I joined Broadcast GG, I just joined all the servers that I could.
Let's go. Oh, whoop. Oh,
I just joined all the servers I could, reaching out, saying like, hey, such and such team. I DM'd them. I'm always in, looking for scrim channels. Like, hey, I saw that you're looking for a scrim on Tuesday. If you find one, my name is HamTornado. I work with Broadcast GG. I'd be really interested in casting you guys' scrims. Would you be interested? And then times like 20, 25, as many as it takes to get somebody to, respond to you. And the same way looking for tournaments to cast, which is probably the best way to get your name out there personally that I've found. Just look for, keep an eye peeled in these servers. Somebody's like, hey, I'm having like a community tournament. I'd recommend Overwatch University, OWUL. They also run the subreddit. Avengers of Overwatch Guild, Road to Grandmasters. They hold regular community tournaments, or Scrub Cup. That's also a good server. They hold regular community tournaments, and if you are active and offering your services, that's a good way to start moving beyond just casting scrims.
Sure. So, what does it look like? Because Overwatch is still very young. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what does it look like to get to the pros? To get recognized as a caster and really feel that you've made it. What would that mean for you?
Oh, I'm still waiting to feel that, still taste that victory, my friend. But hopefully things will be happening in the future. I would say the first. I can't really claim to have achieved like incredible success as a caster. I mean, that would seem disingenuous when there's amazing people like Hex and everybody around who probably have a little bit better tales of professional success. But as an amateur, where am I? Oh, okay. Yeah, but as an amateur, I think one of the biggest things that helped me start to stabilize my career and produce consistent quality content that people will be like, oh, hey, HamTornado, she's casting this like next tournament or something or other, is finding a casting partner that you get along with and you can produce regular content with. So for me, that's the amazing Leg Day Gaming, Harry Hercules Leg Day Gaming Pollitt.
Leg Day, all right.
Yeah, he is a man of many monikers, but of singular talent. He's so amazing. I wouldn't be anywhere I am right now without his
run to the middle
support. We're here, I'm here.
Yes! Oh! I didn't win the war, but I won that battle. That was good.
No, man, you're styling. Yeah.
Oh, I got that.
Check that out.
That. Let's get it.
Sharpshooter. I want to see this.
Oh, is this it at the end? Oh yeah, this one was beautiful. You just spam until you make it. That's what I've learned in Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a little bit harder in game when this is on a 7-second cooldown, but the principle is the same.
Exactly. So find a partner. Is that number one? So anytime you're starting, just find somebody. Do they even have to be good? Is it even beneficial to cast maybe with just a friend who's not even good at the game, but they can at least talk with you? Because that's kind of what I did when I got into it.
Yeah.
Do you think that's helpful?
Yeah, I mean, when you're first starting out, when I was first starting out, like I was like a dumpster fire. Everybody's kind of just struggling to figure out what their style is, how to cast. And so I think one of the biggest things is the consistency. Yeah, of course you have to to get along with your casting partner, because the synergy between the two casters is palpable, and one of the most important things that creates a good casting partnership, in my opinion. The game knowledge is even not necessarily as important as being able to make your casting seem like a conversation.
True.
Yeah.
So okay, Coco the Dragon told me Torbjorn Jungle Gym. That's what we have. I don't know what that means. Does that mean we go on the moon? I hope it means we go on the moon.
Hey man, this is I'm just a player here on this chessboard. You can move me as you will. I've never played Torbjorn here in Torbjorn paintball, but let's do it. Right clicks only?
Or what? Oh, right clicks?
Or I don't know.
I
have
don't,
no turret, so
I think hammer. I think we oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Or we can hammer only? All right.
I don't know if we can switch to it, can we?
Oh no, hammer's been disabled, I think.
All right, I guess left click only. All right, we got to go out to the jungle gym. We got to go find the moon. Right. Okay.
Right.
Coco the Dragon is telling me right click only. Do we have to go on the moon? Is that your rule? I don't know what 1v1 jungle gym means.
Is this the monkey rock climbing area?
This is it. Okay. So all right. Well, we just got taken out.
Sorry, that was I ganked you. That was a little bit BM.
All right. Well, I'm going to the moon regardless. I don't know about you.
Dude, I'll go to the moon, man.
I have no idea how to get there. We're just gonna be walking around in circles.
I haven't been to the moon. I hear it gets good ratings on Yelp.
Was that the worst joke I've ever heard?
I don't know because there is no sound. There's no sound here on the moon, so it can't possibly be.
Are you out here? Oh no! This takes too long. All right. Okay, so find a partner. Love the game. I think that's also an important part to keep in mind. Is just loving what you do. I've dabbled in casting for other games. Have you done that at all yourself? And has it been the same as Overwatch?
I have not. Overwatch is my first esport and still my first love. Maybe after 20 years of this marriage, I'll be looking to spice things up a little bit more, something else. But as of now, I'm 100% focused on casting Overwatch.
Okay, sure. All right, so then I guess kind of natural transition to the next question. Is there a set path, in your opinion, to pursue casting? Or is it just kind of everybody can approach it from their own angle, their own personal view? Or do you think that there's really one way to do it? Or maybe even an optimal way to do it, if we want to put it that way?
I would have to say no. That's probably one of the best things and worst things about casting is the fact that
I didn't get you.
No!
I was waiting there for so long.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably one of the best and worst things about casting is that there is no set path, right? So I'm 26, so quite old in the esports world, right? Where you often get like people. One of my favorite producers, Ben Viglo, he's only 16, one of the best producers that I know. He's still in high school. He's like, "Oh, sorry guys, I can't produce for you because I got to go to bed because I got school tomorrow," right? But because casting is so open-ended, like you can still, if you have the drive, the hard work, and you put in the reps and everything to make this happen, you can still make it, despite maybe not being going as traditional of a route, starting out very young or that kind of thing. And even looking at some of the professional casters, I know like Monty and Doa, for example, kind of like the industry standard for good casting. They've been amazing on casting together as a duo for like ages and transitioned.
I mean, coming from League of Legends, yeah.
Right. Coming from League of Legends into Overwatch, they're kind of, this, everybody's like, oh, Monty and Doa, so good. Their color is so on point, etc. Their synergy, etc. But then you look at, say, a different duo like Hex and ZP. They are, they've also been casting since like, Overwatch open beta. cheeky.
How did you know? All right. I'm getting the word that we have to switch to left click. This right click's a little cheesy. It's. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, let's fire the single Cheeto now. Left clicks. But yeah, Hex and ZP. I know that Hex he did not start out as a caster. Overwatch was his first.
This is
Overwatch was also
terrifying.
his first, the first esport that he cast, and so he just kind of worked up from that point to become another one of the great casters in Overwatch. And so there's not really a set path, which means that you can where there's a will, there's a way. However, the downside, kind of what we were talking about earlier, is the fact that because there's no set path, it can be really difficult for newcomers to find their way.
Sure. Not to quote a meme, but to find a way.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
oh
there
boy!
We go. That was for you, Coco. That was for you.
Spit on the dead meme.
So should there be a way? I guess that's the next question. I mean,
Yes.
Okay. So there should, in your mind, what would that path be? What would that path be?
I mean, for me, I think, maybe not something as structured as, say, like the path to pro that Overwatch has just put in. You start out in open division, you move into contenders, you make it to Overwatch League. Casting probably doesn't need something quite as rigid as that. A pathway quite that rigid. However, if we can just, again, broadcast GG, if we can just make the resources more obvious and more available to new guys, they can make of that what they will, right? Having this, again, plugging broadcast GG, but having a library of VODs with no game audio, right? So that you don't even have to go and mute it yourself or worry that, the quality of your VOD recording is going to be too bad because of your computer, right? You can just go into this library of VODs, cast over it to get started. That when you're ready, you'll have this resource, the daily over open division style show matches that you can join in on. All of these kinds of things could constitute like a foundation for young casters to try and gain more experience.
Sure. And I know that a lot of people, and like this is something that was on Twitter, not to date this video, I guess, for the VOD that will go up later, but on Twitter, Froskurin, one of the casters for League of Legends, there's kind of a big Twitter back and forth between a lot of amateur casters and the professionals, and it got a little heated almost of, professionals saying, there are these organizations like Broadcast GG that you can join and kind of get experience through, and the amateurs saying, well, how do we know? How do we find that information? How do you think we get that information out? How do we educate people looking to get into the industry of the paths that they can take?
That's a very difficult question. I mean, marketing, advertising is always really hard, and that's certainly not my area of expertise. But I don't know. I think as somebody who's basically just started in this industry and has very recently experienced all of the same struggles that these young casters are talking about. Myself being a young caster as well, I say that as if I'm some kind of wizened old ham, well seasoned, 6 years old, like sitting there on a mountaintop being a guru or something. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying I think I know what angle they're coming from, but at a certain point you have to, for example. Again, talking about this Broadcast GG community, we were even smaller of a name when I first started, and it's just I ask Left Guy, hey, do you know where I can find somebody to partner with? He doesn't know. Okay, Hexagrams, do you know where I can find somewhere to get started? He doesn't know. I ask ZP, does he know where I can get started? He also doesn't know. You just have to keep trying, and eventually you'll be able to you'll find your way there. I think kind of sometimes there's this miscommunication between maybe the older and more experienced set and the new and upcoming set, is that the older experienced set feel that oh, the younger ones just want everything handed to them. I had to, work up to this. I had to do everything by myself. Blah blah blah. You just have to do it, quote unquote. But like you said, what does that even mean? But at the same time, you have to realize that sometimes a lot of this can be so obscured. There is no yellow pages for casting, right?
Oh yeah.
You have to just basically it all comes, sometimes unfortunately it all comes down to who right? If I didn't have access to Left Guy or Hex, or I may have never found Broadcast GG and I wouldn't be able to talk to you now, right? And so that's a very difficult question to answer. But I
suppose, yeah.
Yeah, but I think in general, as time continues, you see those retweets, right? You're on Twitter if you're looking for those resources, and I do believe that eventually you should be able to find your way to somebody somewhere who can guide you further, right?
Yeah. I think that's kind of the purpose of this show in a way that I wanted to do is to spray at the end, is to kind of show people, how to get into different areas. And I think for Cass in particular, Discord servers like the one that you're talking about, broadcast.gg, fantastic. To get in on that, though, to get invited to that server, is that free? Can you just join? Do you have to message somebody?
Absolutely.
How do you get in there?
So if you want, I will definitely. You can also drop the link into the stream chat, or yeah. Where is it? Let's see. Drop the link into the stream chat. This is 100%. We welcome everybody. If you're interested in casting, if you're interested in producing, hosting, being an analyst for not just for Overwatch, League of Legends, CS:GO, Hearthstone, even Rocket League, this is just a place for anybody to go to talk to anybody else who's interested in the same things. And so we also just recently added it's followers only. Okay.
Oh.
There we go. Followed. Did it not go? I'll drop it in the Discord and you guys can put it in the stream chat. But yeah,
sure.
we actually just recently added a competitor channel as well. So if team captains want to go and see want to join us and have their scrims more regularly cast, then they're also welcome and encouraged to come and join our server. What's going on?
We're doing a mystery duel, and this is my first time ever playing Doomfist. I am not afraid to admit. So I think strategy number 1 is just meet at the tower and just fight each other. I think that's really the only option, right?
I'm so bad at Doomfist. I actually never got the hang of the shift into E.
Oh, I'm alive. Okay. I was trying to get through that window up there. All right, there you are. Whoa, okay. I don't know what's happening.
Oh god! A take bait! Oh my lord!
Oh, I have to reload.
The blind leading the blind.
Oh. We are professional casters and gamers in the esports industry.
Yeah, not
clearly we should know how to play. Okay, here we go. This is a champ or a hero that I know how to play.
Oh, I am not good. Okay.
So you've mentioned you've done a couple different events. What's been, your favorite memory or your favorite event that you were a part of that you get to kind of be like, yes, I'm a caster. I did this cool thing.
Ooh, okay. So once again, with the caveat that I am quite new to this industry, but I do have a couple of tournaments under my belt. Currently, Leg Day and I are casting the Overwatch Team Story Chapter 4, which is a Chinese tournament, kind of the continuation of the Nexus Cup saga that we cast earlier in the year. But favorite one would probably be Nexus Cup. That was definitely our largest viewership as well. I think the Lunatic High game, we peaked at 1.7k viewers.
Oh, nice.
So that was super exciting.
Okay. Well, Roadhog is going to be just brutal. I just realized what this actually entails to fight each other. Whew. Okay. Shrapnel everywhere. Oh, it's over! Get over here!
Never say never.
Oh, you're going down. Come on, one more. The auto didn't get you? Or the melee? There we go.
I died. Nice.
Whew, okay.
Yeah,
So, a peak of 1,700, and that's pretty cool.
It was definitely, the response that we got was very surprising because we were not official streamers. Don't tell the popos, but yeah, we were basically doing a bootleg English recast because nobody we knew and nobody who we knew the tournament organizers for Nexus Cup. So we saw on Reddit, on Twitter, the various discords, that there was a demand for this English recast, so we just decided to say, we'll just go for it. And again, this kind of ties back into this whole, like, you see an opportunity, take it. Sometimes you can even make an opportunity for yourself in this way. But
Whew. I don't understand what the double mine is anymore.
You got twice the boopin', boopin' now.
I was trying to do something cool. I was watching Overwatch League last week, and clearly I need to work on my mechanics. But this is a hero. There's no need for mechanics. Let's go.
Yeah, but yeah. So we just decided to go for it. It was also one of the most difficult things I've ever done. It was basically 2.5 weeks of casting about 4 hours every day, which is, it's difficult. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
But the hardest part was the fact that it was in Chinese time. So we were going off of the stream. It was in Chinese time, so it was like 8 in the morning for Leg in the UK, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning for me.
Well, that's not fair. Come on.
Yeah, so
there we go. So really early morning. Oh no, I missed. No.
Unlucky. Oh no.
Oh wow.
That's incredible.
So wait, how late were you up? Exactly. What hours were you casting from for your time?
2 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the AM Mountain Standard.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a doozy. I ain't gonna lie. But that kind of I learned so much, and I'm really grateful to Leg, who is the one who kind of who is the one who made this opportunity happen, basically just with his own, gung ho-ness. But yeah, so it taught me a lot about. Oh God! I fell off the edge.
Yes. I didn't even touch my keyboard. I was still in base.
That's how good you are, man. Like, I just, I can't even get close to you. I'm just warded away by your incredible aura.
Are you ready for me to sleep you and then miss every shot afterward?
No, you're gonna do great, man. My Ana aim is actually pretty terrible. So, but yeah, it taught me a lot about, what it really means to be dedicated and manage not just the content aspect of casting, having good analysis. I do color casting mostly, having good analysis and so on and so forth, but being able to entertain the audience, especially when it's such a marathon and it's, hours and hours of.
You've been shooting me this whole time. Okay, well that sounds like about my average on a game. So.
Nah, but that was. Oh hey, Orisa.
Oh my! How many of these do we have to do?
I don't know. Coco, our benevolent overlord.
We might be going to 20.
Hey, maybe.
I feel like he's that guy.
He's just that dude. But yeah.
So cool event then. Now this is kind of the question because we are approaching that hour mark. So I just kind of want to get your opinion. This is something I ask everybody. I love hearing individuals, perspectives.
Uh-huh.
If you could go back in time to, when you first started and, give yourself one piece. This is so cheese. Wow. You could really.
You got to play around the shield, man. That mad juke.
I don't even want to ask the question now.
No.
If you could go back in time and first day you meet Gilfrost, you hit it off great. What would you change? What would you do differently, if anything?
Worn deodorant. That was pretty unfortunate, I think. But
no, I don't mean meeting Gilfrost. I mean starting Bastard. But it's good to know.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
If we ever meet in real life, I'll make a point.
Yeah, be like, hey, yo, you got that deodorant on, right? Like, yeah.
Realistically, though, I mean, if you could give yourself any advice when you first started to say, do this, don't do this, change this behavior, what would the best advice be?
Uh, don't doubt yourself. I think is probably one of the biggest things that I struggled with and continue to struggle with. Actually, is that when again tying into your excellent points before about the lack of structure maybe in this in the esports broadcasting industry, is you always think oh, maybe I'm stepping on toes, like asking somebody, hey, do you mind if you give me a second of your time, and what's your advice in this situation, or something like that. Oh, who am I to ask whoever? A lot of some people are pretty mean, but a lot of them are actually just really nice and are completely willing to give some advice or some feedback, especially to help the new guys coming up, and not just in terms of reaching out and making connections, but also in terms of your own casting ability, right? If you've put in the hours, if you put in the legwork, don't feel that it's never enough, right? I think one of the big difficulties was I was actually losing hair. I was like losing hair from casting so much every single day and stressing myself out, like, oh, feeling like I'm never going to make it. Or, I mean,
Wow.
granted, I haven't quite made it that far yet, but it is progress, right? Like you don't want to lose sight of the end goal of what you want to achieve, but you also can't deny kind of the hard work that you've put in and the things that you've accomplished along the way, right? And so that will probably be, for me, the advice I would give to my younger self. Don't lose hair.
Don't lose hair.
You're already gonna lose hair in the future. It's just a question of time, so you don't there's no need to speed the process right now.
Wise words. Wiser words have never been said. Also, I don't know if you realize, but we were in a game there, so I did technically win again.
Oh, there we go, man.
I think that means I officially win 1v1, but that was essentially the end of the show. So, Coco, we can cut the games here. But thank you so much, Evie, for being on the show with me tonight. Again, wonderful name. Deli sliced chicken breasts, Dust Storm. It's fantastic. I don't know how you came up with it, but I do want to say I wish you best of luck going forward with Overwatch. I can tell just from this conversation you're going to go far with that work ethic. Do you have a Twitter handle or anything? I know your Twitter handle is below, but anything else that you want to plug before we call it a wrap?
Oh, no. So the only thing would be, if you want some more, porky goodness, be sure to follow me on the tweet sphere, ham __. That's 2 underscores.
Ooh.
Tornado. You keep being like, oh yeah, that name's really good, and I'd like to think so. But when I went in to create the Twitter thing, somebody else had already taken the single underscore and like the combined word, all variations of the capitalization. So that's how that horribleness came about. But yeah, other than my Twitter. Also, just once again, Broadcast GG. I really can't recommend it enough, and it's not just because I'm part of the community, but it's helped me so much. And praise Papa Beef, Mushu Beef, who runs this whole deal and has put so much time, sweat, and blood and effort into it, in making sure that there's resources available for new casters and producers to get started. But I just like to thank you. Thanks so much for having me on your show. That was so much fun. I hope I was somewhat coherent playing the games.
You did a great job.
Every like 10 seconds, something hilarious would just happen, and I couldn't possibly finish my thought. So
I think what we did learn, though, is I am the better tank player.
So absolutely, you should. The interview. If the interview thing doesn't work out, you should be pro tank player.
Well, I actually was approached, but I couldn't play in the Overwatch League because I'm doing the show on Wednesday night. So unfortunately,
I see. Yeah,
it was a no-go. Yeah, but thank you so much, Evie, for being on here. Ham __Tornado. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks Esports Network for hosting our show. Make sure to follow them on Twitter, as well as hit that follow or subscribe on Twitch. And we'll be back live next week with another guest, another game potentially, and hopefully somebody a little worse at their game than Evie is. But thank you so much for coming tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Rock this!